Every first-time investor I talk to in College Station, Texas tells me the exact same thing. I want a duplex. 2 doors means more cash flow. But dropping $300,000 on an old duplex right now is an absolute trap. When you can grab a single-family house in the sweet spot of, call it $245,000. Oh, in that house, it'll be 20 years newer. And look, I own both single-family homes and duplexes right here in BCS, and I help investors analyze these properties every single day. So in this video, I'm stacking a classic local 1980s built duplex up against a 2000s built single family house to expose the real world operational costs and hidden structural expenses that paper spreadsheets will completely ignore. By the time we run the metrics, you'll see exactly why single family houses are the better investment 9 times out of 10, particularly for those first time investors here in Bryan-College Station in 2026. So let's jump into everybody's favorite asset profiles, duplexes versus single family houses. All right, let's look at the actual playing field. If you're hunting for an investment property in BCS right now with a budget of $300K or maybe a little bit below, your choices generally boil down to 2 specific assets. First up, you have the classic, the 1980s built duplex. You see these scattered all over BCS, particularly in the older student pockets of College Station and areas in Bryan. They're almost always side-by-side setups with 2 bedrooms and 1 to 2 bathrooms per side. On average, they're about 800 to 1,000 square feet, and on the outside, they look pretty standard with that Texas brick veneer. But on the inside, they're usually their original 1980s condition. On the other side of the ring, you got the 1995 to 2010 built single family house. This is the suburban sweet spot. We're talking about 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a legitimate 2-car garage, and roughly 11 to 1,400 square feet of clean house. Of course, you're looking at brick and usually hardy plank siding. Now, why do most first-time investors immediately lean towards the duplex? Well, it's because of a psychological trap that I call the multi-door illusion. You see, every real estate forum and rookie podcast drills into your head that multifamily is always superior because, well, 2 doors are better than 1. Your brain looks at a duplex and says, man, if a tenant leaves, I still have one side paying the rent, covering the mortgage. It feels like built-in scale. It looks like instant protection. And honestly, on a clean white spreadsheet, that logic kind of makes sense. But your spreadsheet doesn't manage actual human beings, and it doesn't operate the actual real estate asset that is a duplex. So let's look at the cold hard facts. You see, you can probably find a duplex for around $280,000. You'll probably need to put $10,000 into each side to fix it up, and ultimately you'll have an asset worth around $300K. It'll rent for about $1,200 per side once fixed up, so you'll have an income of around $2,400 a month. If we look at the 1% rule, that's a 0.8% rent to price ratio, which is pretty good here for Bryan and College Station. Now that single family house, you're gonna buy it all in for $245, and it's probably gonna rent for around $1,900 a month. That's a 0.78% rent to price ratio. So on paper, the duplex kind of wins. But here's where your 2006 market reality delivers a punch that your spreadsheet is hiding from you. We're gonna be talking about real world expenses. And to analyze this properly, don't use back of the napkin math, use a real rental property calculator like the one that we have on our website. I'll have a link in the description below. And if you want help analyzing real estate, feel free to shoot me an email. Send me the word start in the subject line and send it to info@schwartzrealtygroup.com. I will personally respond to every single email and help you analyze your next deal. First up, we gotta talk about our capital upkeep and initial outlays. To get a 1980s duplex into a condition that attracts the kind of tenant you want living in your rental property, you need to make some improvements. And usually that starts at around $10,000 per side up front. And that's really to take care of that worn out interior, the old cabinets, the old flooring, and that old beigey color that these things were painted in back in the 1980s. That's a $20,000 cash hit day one. With the single family houses being built in the 2000s, most of my clients are only doing a very light refresh. We're talking $5,000, maybe $10,000 max for the entire property. That's half as much. Second, you gotta talk about the ongoing maintenance. Many of these 1980s built duplexes are not sub-metered for water. That means that you as the landlord are likely gonna have to foot the bill. And then what about lawn care? You see, duplex tenants almost never are required to cover the lawn care, so therefore another expense that you're taking on as the landlord. It's usually about $100 a month. And the silent profit killer is tenant retention. You see, single family houses attract tenants that historically stay twice as long as a duplex tenant. Less turnover means that you have less vacancies and less make-ready expense, which is gonna save you thousands of dollars over a 5, 10, or 15-year period. The next thing that people just generally don't think about about is the fact that it's a little bit more complex to manage a multifamily. Because of course there's a shared wall. I call this the shared wall tax because it's a tax that you're gonna pay as a self-managing landlord. You're gonna deal with the squabblings between the tenants because if they share a wall, that means they share sounds and smells, they share late night parties and everything else that comes with it. If this is too much for you, you're gonna wanna hire a property manager. Well, if you hire a property manager instantaneously, that's gonna cost you 10% of your gross rent, which in this case would be $240 a month. There's an expense that you didn't really think about from the beginning because of course you're like, I'm gonna self-manage this thing, Greg. How hard can it be? Well, I'll tell you right now, duplexes are definitely harder than single family houses. I've got both. So when you look past the basic rent to price ratios, when you really break down real world expenses and add on the additional headaches that come with owning an 80s built duplex, not even to mention the fact that it's gonna be a 20-year older asset, because it just makes more sense in most cases to buy the single family house. Now, this is especially true right now because single family housing market is much softer than the duplex market. That's why the ratios are so close. Normally, a duplex would create so much additional cash flow compared to a single family house that it's worth it. But today, I don't think that's the case. But I wanna know what you think. Are duplexes still worth it in 2026 or are single family houses the way to go? Let me know in the comments below. And if you wanna learn more about our local market and what's happening, you need to check out this video right here.